Hey guys, welcome to Smite Tactics. My name is Jaggerous, and today I have a new deck guide for you. A new beginner deck as we check out the Chinese Pantheon, which is the newest Pantheon to be added to Smite Tactics. And the deck that I have here for you guys is I would say it's like a rush control deck. So you're kind of trying to kill them real quick, whilst also clearing the board with like really cool synergies between like the command effect, for example, and items. So you'll notice that we are quite, heavy on the items. So we have Blink. Blink, as you may know, in my opinion, is a really useful card. You can move your units around the map, next to enemies that you want to hit, away from enemies with taunt. It's just generally useful. Combining that with the synergy with the command effect of the Chinese just makes it, a really useful card. Crescent Blade, deal 1 damage to a non-leader enemy. It's free. So it's just free 1 damage. Fist of the Gods we got 1 of for the stun, also an item. Sunder we have 2 of, deal 2 damage to a non-leader enemy. Again, an item, clear. And 1 charge as well, which is also an item. And this will become abundantly clear as we move on into our units. So White Tiger is just kind of a cheap staple card. You could, swap him out with something different for 2 cost, maybe a Basilisk or something. Though he does have the effect of Colossal, giving him, extra strength as the turn goes on. Which means basically Colossal effects happen at the start of each turn. So he starts as a 1-2, then on the next turn he becomes a 1-3, and the next turn he gains another health, and so on and so forth. But this is just to put pressure on your opponent and kind of force them to clear it. Where we get interesting is with this next card, which is actually a blue card. So this is one of the first crafted cards. Though you do get 1 Imperial Archer for free if you complete the Chinese campaign. So you don't need to craft 1 of these. This is a 2/3 unit that command triggers whenever you play an item. Hey, look at all these items. Then deals 1 damage to a random enemy. So you can put him down and then, maybe play a Sunder, deal 2 damage to a unit, which also triggers the Imperial Archer, dealing 1 damage to a unit. It's also a 2/3, so it's a little bit trickier to clear. And it only has 3 cost. Moving on with our, command effects, we also have Imperial Guard. So this is one of the other cards you're going to have to craft, though it is a common, so relatively cheap. +1, +0, and Pardon until the end of turn. So when you play this minion, every time you play a item, he can then have higher damage, and he also, Pardon means he doesn't take retaliation damage until the end of the turn. So he's not got Pardon indefinitely. Once it's their turn and they hit him, he'll hit them back. Like it's not forever. You have to play an item. But this effect, combining with like Charge, for example. So Charge lets them attack and move on the turn that they're spawned. So that's 5 cost for a 4/3 that can attack straight away. I feel like that's a pretty good combo, especially in a beginner deck. Then we have Projection. Select a friendly god or minion and deal its attack as direct damage to a non-leader enemy. And that's another crafted card you're going to need in here. But that synergizes, with the Imperial Guard. I'm not actually sure if it'll deal 4 damage or 3 damage because, he gets bonus damage from the item, from the command. And then the item, deals damage based on his attack. So, I don't know. But this is, again, more clear. Similarly, the Archer, you can use it on the Archer for 2 damage. Or on the Stone Guardian, who's a 3/3 for another 3 damage. And Stone Guardian is horrible because it's ranged Colossal. So it starts with 4 range, but each turn it gets 1 more range. And if you have higher range than another ranged unit, and you attack them from, say he has 5 range and the other unit has 4 range. If you attack them from 5 range, because the other unit only has 4 range, it won't hit you back. So Projection is it does work nicely with these cards, though it would be better, with something higher damage, such as Sun Wukong. But he's legendary, and this is a beginner deck, so, just deal with it, you guys. Then we have Evolve. Evolve just spawns a random friendly with Colossal. So it could give you a White Tiger, but equally it could give you a Ao Kuang, which is a pretty good unit. Anyway, let's jump into a game, and I'll kind of show you how the deck is played. Okay, so we're queuing into a Egyptian deck, which is, usually they do kind of control strategies. The difference is our control strategy is also very rush-based. In terms of the mulligan, we're going second, which means we'll get the mana potion, which means we can actually get the Imperial Archer or the Imperial Guard out quite early. So we'll probably mulligan, I think we'll mulligan the Guard and hopefully find him later, and then keep the Archer for now. Crescent Blade, Fist of the God. This is pretty cool. Okay, so I guess he's trying to break the urn. But I think in doing that, he's actually given me the ability to break the urn. Urns are a new feature in this game. They sometimes spawn on the Egyptian map. And if you break it, you get a card. Look at that. So we got the Urn of Attack, which gives a friendly +1 attack this turn. You cannot use it on leaders, unsurprisingly. I think what we're going to do now is Mana Potion, and should we put out the Imperial Archer? Ideally, you know, because Mana Potion's an item, I would have liked to have one of these guys out first, but ultimately it's still okay. I think we'll put out the Imperial Guard at the moment, and then we'll end our turn. But having all these items on us is really nice. I'm not really convinced why he's giving me the urns, because that's basically what he's doing here. Is he's giving me the urns because he's not attacking. But it is what it is. We'll put this archer here. Attack this. And the thing is, it also gives me items, you know? So then if I use this, that then triggers, you know, my command effect. And this is actually a really nice map for Noir because of that effect. And also this then puts pressure on him with the archer, that he now feels like he has to get rid of it, which is pretty cool. So then you'll also see here, guys, that so if we use the Urn of Attack on our unit, there you go. So then that's an item, it deals damage. We can then use Crescent Blade. Should we use Crescent Blade? I think we actually, no, we should have gotten our other archer out first, actually. I've misplayed a little bit here, but it's still fine. So we'll get our other archer out first, then we'll use Crescent Blade. Does a damage to Bastet. And you'll notice that these guys both then dealt 1 damage. We then clear Bastet with our dude. Boom. And I'm actually tempted to stun Ra here just so he doesn't deal retaliation, but you know, this guy has 5 health, you know, it's gonna be fine. Boop. And we end our turn. And you can kind of see the rush control strategy that's going on. The only issue here is I've you know, put my units quite close together. And that's a little awkward just because of how this game works. But it's not a big end of the world. So what we can do here is if we use projection, we then select a friendly minion, this minion, and we'll deal the 3 damage that is its health there to Neath. Boop. And because that was an item, you'll notice that then Ra also took the 2 random damage from these units. Then what we can do here, I think, is we could Fist of the Gods, and that's another item, and then that would deal another 2 damage. Or we get, you know, more unit presence on the board. That's, you know, the question here is what do we want to do with that? And I think, to be honest, I'm going to trade myself. I can take this 4 damage from the Neath, and that's fine. And we'll get this other unit on the board. And we will then start moving to deal damage to the Ra, and, you know, causing him some trouble. And then he conceded. But yeah, that's the basis of beginner rush Chinese. Let's jump into another game, and I'll try and show you guys how it works again. Okay, so as you can see, we have the new mirror. Unfortunately for ourselves, we're going second, which is not as good because we don't get that extra item. We're going to mulligan the blink and the projection and keep the archer. And the thing with Mirror Noir is, you know, there are some really nasty strategies you can employ. For example, she might be running the Chang'e Transfusion. So Chang'e is a 0-5. Transfusion sets your damage to be equal to your health. So then it's just unfun for everybody involved. Okay, so we don't have enough mana to play anything here, so we're just going to move in and stealth ourselves. And in doing that, we're just buying ourselves some time such that if she does want to target me, she's going to have to come a lot closer. Which is, you know, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Now we wait. Oh, I should probably end my turn. That would help. I feel like if I don't have any more options, although I guess I could have used Crescent Blade, except there's nothing to target. So I feel like if you don't have any more options, it should really just auto-end your turn. Just to save time wasting. Alright, come on. Enemy Noir, what are you going to do? So this is my ability. Basically, you make stealth. So stealth is, you know, like the bushes effect in the... what's it called map? In the... Words are hard today, you guys. In the Greek map, you know, the bushes, and then you stand in the bushes, and then you can't target unless you're adjacent. That's how that works. We'll spawn an Imperial Archer up here. This means that if she wants to, you know, spawn something next to it, she has to spawn it on the flames. We can't target her because she's in a bush. Well, she's in smoke, and we'll just end our turn here. So the Imperial Archer, like I say, we're going to look to use some of these item effects with him. Okay, she's gonna attack him. This is fine because she'll take retaliation damage. On top of that, we still have, you know, plenty of items in hand. So we can just get another archer on the board. It'd help if I clicked on the right thing. Alternatively, we take the risk and spawn a colossal friendly. Let's do that and see what we get. Oh, it spawned on fire. Could you not, Oogway? Like, could you not? I'm gonna blink him, I think. So that he's not on fire anymore. Let's put him here. And we can now attack her as well. That's frustrating. If he could not spawn, like, literally on flames, that would be pretty good. Unfortunately, you can see she's got her taunt out there, which is also allowing her to deal range damage to our Oogway, which she managed to kill. We do have enough, actually, do we have enough? We have enough in hand to just clear the Xiaofang, so what I'm going to do is spawn the archer, and in spawning the archer, it means that when I use Crescent Blade, because he then deals 1 damage to a unit, he's hit that again, then we can sunder this, causing the archer to deal damage then to our Nuwa, enemy Nuwa. Then we can move in and attack her, and then end our turn. So this is nice. The only thing is, you know, you go through cards quite quickly. You can see she's got a bit more of a handful than we do. What did she get? Okay, so she got an Oogway as well. This is fine because we can just move out of range and clear it with the units that we have in hand. Alternatively, we can sunder it. And then, you know, do damage to Nuwa, but I feel like because we have the clear on in hand anyway, maybe it's not worth it. Though this is a rush deck, so we do want to actually hit our opponent. Go on, hit him. I think she wants to hit him. She's thinking about it. Does she have Sunder in hand? If she has another Sunder, but I think she's played 2. Whoops. Yeah, she's played both the Sunders, so she can't Sunder him. So she's going to have a really hard time if she does want to clear him. But you can tell that she's a little bit worried about this unit and the synergies that we do have. So now we have an Imperial Guard, which is nice because he does get +1 and Pardon until the end of his next turn. So we'll move, I think we'll move to here. We'll range attack this. We'll then clear it. Whoop. We'll summon our Imperial Guard, like so. And then we'll use the stealth such that, you know, I mean, oh no, never mind, I can't because I've attacked. And also, I mean, she'd have to move forward to hit us. So I guess we'll just end our turn here. We do have a nice number of minions on the board though, which do get, you know, interesting synergies with stuff like Sunder. For example, this unit here, if we use Sunder, it then he then gets Pardon. So then we can move him into Nuwa and attack him, for example. If she's smart, I guess she'll attack the Imperial Guard because she's ranged. And then she won't take retaliation damage. It would make sense. Weakening Curse. So Weakening Curse disarms an enemy until your next turn. Disarm means that they can't attack. And you can tell she's trying to buy herself some time here. We're going to use Sunder. And you'll notice that the 1 damage from the Imperial Guard hit her there. We'll put our White Tiger out. We'll move our dude in. And I think we're just going to go for a face here. Like, she's down to, what, 9 health. We can also use this guy, 6 health. Unfortunately, we can't attack with him because he's been disarmed, and we'll just end our turn. It does mean that we don't get the bonus damage Pardon effect this turn, but, you know, it's starting to look a bit tricky for her. You know, we've got a lot of presence on the board. We've got 5 damage in hand. If I play an item, you know, we've got even more. So this is starting to look tricky, we'll say, tricky. And she's running Imperial Soldier, which she used Charge on. She's managed to clear my dude, which is annoying. But still, you know, we have a lot of presence. And then she's blinked and attacked him from range. And now we have the Stone Guardian. And we want to put this away from her, basically. Because the way this unit works is that it can get up to 5 range. So if we can put this over here, you know, she's going to have a hard time because she needs to clear that 1, 2, 3, 4. So she has to come forward if she wants to hit it. We'll move over here and attack her. And then we're actually going to move me to here because that means that if she wants to get into range of the Stone Guardian, she's going to have to stand on fire. Which I don't think she's going to want to do somehow. And she's down to 1 card in hand. Is this card going to turn the game around? I don't think so. Well, she got 2 cards because she drew 1, but I don't know. I don't think she has enough clear. And the Stone Guardian, he's going to, you know, start getting more and more range. So then we can hit her without her hitting us back. And it's just getting a bit nasty. So she's got her Imperial Guard out now, but it's too little too late. You know, we had enough strength on the board. What can she do? Maybe she could blink him? I don't know. I don't know what the range is of blink. I think she could blink him out the way, I guess. And then, you know, it'd be hard for us to hit. But we'd have 5 range, so it's like, where can she put him? You know, if she puts him over here, we'll just kill her unit and kill her the next turn. And we have charge. Charge is totally useless. So we'll stand here just because, you know, retaliation. We don't really want to be retaliated against. And that's a dead Nuwa. But there you have it. That is the... I was going to say rush deck, but this one went 9 turns. That is like the rush control... or rush command deck, I guess is what I call it. And it's actually pretty decent for a beginner deck. You know, I thought that Chinese wasn't going to be the greatest beginner deck, but it actually works out pretty nicely. And then once you've, you know, gotten a few cards for the Chinese, what you can then do is look to do this transfusion strategy, which basically involves this card here, set target non-leader's attack equal to its health. This costs 2. So if you can play this second turn, we'll say. So let's say you start with the mana potion. You start with the mana potion, you summon Chang'e, who's a 0/5. It's so early in the game that she's very hard to deal with, and your opponent doesn't expect you to use this strategy, so they summon a unit. Then you use Transfusion on Chang'e, suddenly you have a ranged 5/5. Like, even without Hu Yi, it's a pretty nasty strategy. But I didn't include it in my beginner deck because ultimately I think, you know, if you're running the Chang'e strategy, you really want to be running Hu Yi too. So it's maybe not something that I would do, but you always could. You know, you always could. But yeah, if you like this beginner deck, hit that thumbs up button. You know, let me know what other decks you want to see on the channel. And if you enjoy the Smite Tactics content that I do make, maybe hit that subscribe button. Beyond that, you can catch me live streaming Gwent and Smite Tactics at twitch.tv/Jaggerous. Or you can follow me on Twitter at Jaggerous. Have a great day. Thanks for watching, and I'll hopefully catch you guys in the next video. Bye!